Hey there guys, it's your good pal Wiggly, and welcome back to more Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. In the last episode, we determined that it's possible that Luke Atmey is the real murderer of Kane Bullard, and tried to frame Rhonda Light and then use the stealing of the urn as an alibi so that he couldn't have been the murderer. And in this episode, we're going to continue on, and we just have to prove it with Part 4-2, the second half of the trial. October 14th, 12:14 p.m. in District Court Defendant Lobby Number 4. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive, inside your heart. Aw. Nicky boy! Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? Probably. To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at the Lordly Tailor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Okay. Whew. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand. And there you are. Well, well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given your perfect alibi. That's a lot of W's. An alibi by the name of Master Mask. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here, fair enough. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Mask. Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring. Ooh, that sparkle. Oh! That sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Well, thank you very much for proving this to me, Lamau. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Master Mask. Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. All right, Mr. Atmey. Night of the murder. Speak. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. All right, Luke. Oh, let's get him. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. Not quite, but... It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Master Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have yet to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. Okay, Von Karma, calm down. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Okay. I was stealing the urn just as I announced I would. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Master Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Huh. Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Atmey? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi? Probably not. Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? No, probably not. There's nobody that really could have... No. If Luke Atmey was at KB's security during the murder, then the mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice. But right now, I have no idea who it was. I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just what this guy wants. There's got to be another way. Okay, so there was an accomplice. What? Who? Because Ron was not there. Who? Who? I'm so confused. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. It was not her. No shot. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. Okay. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed, that is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. Yeah. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. I mean, there's no paint on the box, but he had the urn, so he definitely took the urn. Oh man, I'm stuck here. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. He was simply caught by the very camera that he has set up. It's so obvious, though. Like, we all have days like that. Come on. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad, blue melody. It looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. What? The paint splotch is in the photo. What was the timeline of events here? When did Adrian drop the... She dropped it when it arrived, right? Broken and repaired by Adrian Andrews 2 weeks ago. I mean... I guess the proof could be, like... We haven't really established the statue. But the statue was moved. At this time. And the Shichishido was missing, and also... This is definitely what you used to kill them both. Okay, let's just keep pressing here for a second. Time at which the camera captured Mask to Mask was the same time as the murder. Not quite. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you were thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? Yes. I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered, except for he wrote the program, right? We established that. I see. It looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. His alibi is false? Has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB's security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the Mask to Mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. There's no date on the photo. This could have been taken a while before, maybe? No. Like, yeah, the photo's fake. Like, that's not him stealing the urn. Well, maybe it is. Oh my god. Like, he did steal the urn, and he did get the picture taken on purpose. I'm not sure what they're pointing at here. Okay. Okay. Let's slow down for a second. Let's take a look at all of our evidence. Let's refamiliarize ourselves. I feel like I'm missing something obvious. Moved again that night. Yes, it was moved. And you're the only one who could have moved it, and that's where the Shichishido was. Okay. To the security at Lorley Taylor, I will be coming to... I don't think I've read this. I will be coming to purloin the most priceless work of art on display. Your treasures of Crane exhibit. Take good care of the speckled urn, won't you? Yours truly, Mask to Mask. Boy, am I glad I noticed this. Speckled urn. You would have had to have known it was broken. Okay, 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 okay. A photograph contains no words. In this case, it turned out to be my only witness. Same time as the murder. I don't know. Let's... I'm very stumped here. The only suspicious thing I can find right now, according to this, is the contradiction of that statement, Your Honor. How exactly the... Okay, never mind. Is it the wrong statement? Turned out to be my witness. It has to be right here? No. Did I just present the same thing on the same statement twice? Oh my god. Wow, he's got me. He's got me good. Very thing that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you would understand by now. This is new dialogue. Whoever Taylor provided that camera, there's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice. Okay, I pressed on the third statement, and I got new dialogue. I was just reviewing all of these, and there's new dialogue here. That's kind of weird. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? The statue's moved? Are you implying that this picture's a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Okay, it is the statue, but I'm not completely connected here, but I hope the game kind of pushes it forward for me. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Okay, it's right here. The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain. Oh, blood! Now this case is getting interesting. Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach-colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright? What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? It is supposed to be the golden statue. I'm not sure where this is going, though. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Not old bag. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? It was Luke. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? I know exactly why. The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Can it? Look at me. You pretended to be Master... I thought he moved it to get the Shichishito and not be caught on camera doing it. You pretended to be Master Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? The box doesn't have paint on it. Is that it? Right here? The lie in this photo is somewhere around here. Jumping to conclusions again? I think you need to take a gander in your local mirror. As the Yiddish proverb goes, a half-truth is a whole lie. Oh no. Keep lying like this and you'll be the one on trial. Oh man, now they're calling me a liar. Oh god. How did it... I did so well up to this point. How is it falling apart so hard? Why the statue was moved. There was some reason the culprit didn't want the statue in this picture. At least that's what I thought. I'll ask you again, Mr. Trite. The box right there. Is this it? The lie is Master Malk. Oh, okay. I don't know where this is going. I'm bullshitting so hard. Are you saying that this Master Mask is a fake? Huh. You know, I really wish you would start acting more responsibly. Huh? The current question is, why was the golden statue moved? So what possible connection could there be with Master Mask's identity? Oh, buggers. Your face has "oh, buggers" written all over it. That's a penalty. Okay. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. Nor is there any need for one more time. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my god. Okay, this got a lot harder all of a sudden. At least for me. I'm probably missing something very obvious, and the order that things happen is not connecting in my brain. I'm not correct about what happened. I thought that he moved the statue to get the Shichishito, and obviously it'd be like easier to piece it together, but now I'm just like, what the hell? Oh man. Okay, first loss. Let's try that again. Okay, so it's not anything to do with him, and it's not anything to do with the paint stain. So it's gotta be like the time. For some reason, I don't know what exactly. I feel like I'm having a brain fart, and I'm overlooking something obvious, and I'm gonna be told, and I'm gonna be like, oh. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was this statue placed beside the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Okay, got it. Oh, so on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. I got confused because they kept making a big deal about, oh, it couldn't have been faked, but there was no date stamp. That's why. So I got it. Okay. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in this photo. Order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lorley Taylor's staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Okay, we've gotten to this point finally. Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point. So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? There's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask. There should be no problem with you telling us your strategy, so let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. Okay. I first received the request from Lorley Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari and was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. There's the contradiction. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand, and there's the proof. I then handled security by myself to ensure that the crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zavari. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay. I'm pretty confident about this one. I'm going to take another chance here. That's not the warehouse. You were unable to see the urn for yourself until the day of the crime. That's not possible because you sent it in the card. If you really are Master Mask, jabam. Got it. Easy. Mr. Atme, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains. And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to the lordly tailor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. Ugh, you can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had sent this urn long before the crime ever took place. Had seen this urn long before the time ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Okay, there goes his alibi. It's pretty dead in the water now. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick? I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? Huh. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask, and now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive, manifest? Nick, he's getting his second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned up his crime on Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Okay. Motive for murder. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. Okay. It was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Okay. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. I think I got it. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirmed that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. Okay. Okay, so that throws my theory out the window that it was a letter from Luke, which I had already kind of discarded a long time ago. But, big but here. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. There would be no sense whatsoever in Kane Bullard saying anything about a red diamond to Ron. So I think that's the crux here. What? Okay. Found in Ron Delight's room, written by Bullard. Okay, it's just updated. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. Okay. Okay. No contact with the victim whatsoever. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. Okay, let's start pressing here. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, We were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Kane Bullard decided to investigate mask to mask and simply mistook who he was. Okay. No. I'm pretty convinced. He sent the letter to you. Yeah. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. What's this dialogue? Show us the contradicting evidence in the blackmail letter. It's the red diamond. Can I present the letter? Huh. A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. Okay, whatever. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through. Okay. It's the red diamond. There was no red diamond. Oh boy. Okay. Blackmail letter one more time. Okay. Okay. Well, that was definitely a... okay. That was definitely a line of thinking here. This feels correct still. Okay. Contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. The blackmail letter reads... Don't want your true identity revealed to the world. Come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Okay, not that. That has nothing to do with it. The statue has nothing to do with it. I think we're already done with that. Camera data. Shido. Okay. We have a whole bunch of evidence over here that we barely used. Okay. The diamond here is blue. That's the only diamond we know about, because... Yeah, a Tear of Emanon is the only diamond he's ever taken. Okay. This, right? Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. Okay, that was a bit of a far stretch to think. That was tricky. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. Well, what about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Mask to Mask stole at all. And your point is, Mr. Trite, so you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. It was Luke Abbott. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? Your true identity revealed to the world. It doesn't necessarily mention anything about Damask, specifically. You've been personally involved in every single Mask to Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel. Probably the one wrapped up conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Gah! Order in the court. Order, I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Wright. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Then answer me, this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret, so just what was that identity? Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atmey wanted so desperately to keep secret was his identity, was a blackmailer. Yes. Luke Atmey was a blackmailer. Objection! Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that? Yes. You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Rhonda Light was actually Master Mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey. Shh! Silence! Man, what a case. There's so many weaving parts for a second case of a game. This is pretty impressive. Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... I believe it. You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Rhonda Light. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask. Well, yes. Rhonda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Rhonda Light was Master Mask? Because he was involved. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was actually Ron Delight. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why you? How dare you expose me like that? That's just like an admission right there. Why I mean, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're just scum. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? How dare you even dare? Why are you doing something with yourself with the big mouth here, you fools? I say, none of you can compare my genius. You're really jealous. So good. Escramante. Come on. This detective cannot handle blackmail murder threats. I'll get away with this. It's enough to make one laugh. Okay. Good lord, man. It would seem we've finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. He's a wild dude. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme. Objection. What, Godot? The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. Well, what do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. What are you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. But... there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man that was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No. No way! Okay. Order! Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright? This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office that night. But... can you really prove that? That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security, and the defense... I don't think I had any proof. No, I don't have any proof of that. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. What do you mean, just as you thought? You're about to hand down a verdict. But, if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony... Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. Why? What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial. And face his guilty verdict as Master Mass. Judge, please. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will sure verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Okay, sorry, I'm terrible at reading the line. Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then it'll only be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. Wow. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. That's goofy, but okay. And it applies to this witness just as much as it applies to everyone else. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way, that's such bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Ooh-ah! Whatever. We're using that shot again for this? Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atme, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Come on, Phoenix. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
Objection!
Who? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you? Phoenix, raise your head up high. I get it. I know who this is. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Hey, there she is. Long time no see, Phoenix. Yeah, it's been a while. Mia! This is the true power of the Crane channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Mask to Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? What? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. That's quite the change of heart. Well, Mr. Godot, what are you... Okay. Very well then, Mr. Luke Atme. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Good Lord. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Okay. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that it was the true culprit, Rhonda Light, oh my god. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim just likely mistook the color of the jewel. Savari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. Okay. The testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness' earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer. Ugh. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright, but I'm always correct. You can't give me a little leeway, sir? Come on. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance? Huh. It seems that the party's about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? Okay, no evidence. At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one oh boy. Okay. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Okay, let's be careful. Indeed, it is true that I was not at the Lordly Taylor. Nothing wrong with that. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. That's not a case-breaking... there's just some missing information there. It's not a case-breaking contradiction. I had known about the date beforehand, so I have his photograph readied. Not a contradiction. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Not a contradiction. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. That's true. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. True, and you explained that part. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why I got it. How would you know unless you were there that he was wearing it? You were in your trial when Ron testified that. You would have no way of knowing that. This is it. Mr. Atmey, about this last remark. You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atmey, it seems you have fatally admitted that you were in the CEO's office. Yes, I figured it out. On the night of the murder. How can you say that? That was stressful. The stakes are pretty high on that for me. I was like, I have to prove that I'm smart. Let's get this in one try. Yes! Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, is that correct? Indeed. That's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry. Whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as mask-to-mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was... It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cop was looking at me with a cold stare. You remember very vividly. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those two who have been watching this trial, or those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There's no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as mask-to-mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about this piece of information? Well... Come on. This detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atmey to have found that out. Got him. One way, you say. Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Got him. Detective Atmey, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. What? Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. All right. What an awfully complicated incident. Incredibly, especially for a case 2. Holy cow. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. I love the repeated lines throughout this case. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Hi, Ron. Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict. I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Master Mask! After all, it's true. Huh? So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? The double jeopardy rule! Okay. What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. What a stupid fucking rule. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime unless she was once found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now? Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty! Woo! Wow, what a case! Holy cow. Okay. Boy, this really is lucky. Wait. This isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still really am Master Mask after all. Well, Ron, you'll figure it out. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yes, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Absolutely. Of course, I'll watch over Pearl, too. Well then, see you around. I hope to see you again. This can't be the last time. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya, you've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, Becoming mask to mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree. She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became mask to mask? Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kind of wish you would check with me. Me too. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Oh. Yeah. Just glue it, man. It'll be fine. That's really the answer. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah, there you are. Miss Delight. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really mask to mask either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? Aw. After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. Well, poor Gumshoe. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man. True. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I'd spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? That's fucking adorable. Oh my god. Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. I'm glad you did too. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Oh no! Mystic Maya, congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you, with another man's wife in front of Mystic Maya? I'll never forgive you. Never, ever. What the hell, Pearl? Oh my god. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Damn, Pearl. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Aw. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. That's sweet. Alright. Oh my god. You can't do that. You can't put Maya in a maid outfit. What? You can't do that. Anyway, moving on. I suppose that is it for case 2, the stolen turnabout. Okay. Tier list time. I think this case is excellent. It's not perfect. I do have a couple qualms. I think some of the leaps in logic were a little difficult for me to follow sometimes. Like, you know, we never proved how Luke killed them. You know, it feels like we should have had a weapon in mind. And I really got stuck on thinking that he took the Shichishido, hit them over the head, and dropped it back off at the murder scene. That made too much sense to me because, like, obviously he, you know, was like, I got hit over the head. And Okay, so we never proved that, and there's just a couple other like just slightly shaky parts of this case that hold it back a little bit for me, but in my opinion, this case belongs in the great category. I really like it. Not as much as case 2-2, mind you, because that one has a lot of advantage of being super tied, having Maya as the stake helps a lot. But I really like the ride of this case. I think it's really cool that we start out seeing what a case would be like if there wasn't a murder involved, actually letting us play through a case, something that's been in the back of my mind this whole time. Like, are we always going to do murders every single time? And even though it ended up being a murder case, the theft case was really important to set the whole thing up for the murder case. I really like the idea of Luke Atmey being smart enough to use one, even though I think the rule is stupid, you use one verdict to get out of another, which is also what Ron was kind of trying to do. And all the moving parts, the blackmail, like triangle there, Larry was really fun as comedic relief. Pearl and Maya were both present. It used something from a previous game in a really smart way with the urn. Adrian Andrews showing back up and getting some more closure to her was fantastic. I really like this case. I grew to really like Ron as a defendant. Desiree's a really good character too. Luke Atmey is an excellent culprit. It introduced Godot, who I fucking love already. He's phenomenal. I can't wait to see more of him. Just an all around really, really solid case. It didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome either. The investigation periods were a little long, but that's good to be expected. I expect these to get longer and us to find more information. I'm also surprised how in-depth this case was. This game really feels like, unlike Justice for All, which kind of felt like it was roughly like the same difficulty to me as game one, it really feels like with Trials and Tribulations, they're taking into account that you have experienced the first two games and letting the cases rise higher in difficulty, and I like that. I like that a lot, even if it's going to stump me a couple times. But yeah, just great case overall. Again, not perfect, but I liked it a lot. Anyway, thank you all for watching this episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations Blind. One more thing to mention before I go. If you are watching this as it comes out, this will pertain to you. If you are not, it doesn't matter. Usually after case 2, I take a little bit of a break, and I'm going to do it again this time before heading into case 3, but I wanted to finish case 2 before we got it out. So it's going to be a little bit of a break before we hop into case 3, but you guys are used to that at this point. So I've been Guildmaster Wiggly. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you want to follow my social or join my Discord, in the description. And I hope to see you all next time when we start episode 3, Recipe for Turnabout.